Hi, my name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. I'd love for you to learn more about Patriot Mobile, www.patriotmobile.com/Gene V. More importantly, I'd like you to be a subscriber to his show. I mean, his Truthcast is amazing. And if you get to listen to some of them, you'll never go back. I really encourage you to come watch it.
Hello, fellow patriots. Gene Valentino here. As we approach our 250th anniversary, let's celebrate the spirit that made this nation the greatest country on earth. I'm so proud to offer you our limited edition 1776 to 2026 commemorative hats, a bold reminder of freedom, faith, and the American dream. Whether you're at a rally or on a golf course or just showing your pride every day, this hat says it all. Grab yours today at GeneValentino.com and let freedom ring.
Now, what a great song to get us back into our programming. 16 minutes after 7 o'clock. And listeners, you haven't lived a good life until you've seen Michael Paul and Gene Valentino dance in the moonlight.
That's exactly right. Welcome in, Gene Valentino, the Velvet Hammer, we call him. And some people call him the Ayatollah of Pensacola. So here we are. We're glad to have you on Friday, which we normally do at 7:15. Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Just dancing around in the moonlight here, sipping my coffee, pretending I'm important.
Moonlight is about the only thing we've seen for the last couple of weeks. It's been so rainy, but we're going to get through this here pretty quickly. We're going to start seeing some sunshine, and hopefully that's for this weekend. But in any case, a good morning to you. And, you know, a lot of stuff going on. Ted and I were talking earlier about these UAPs. Some people call them UFOs. Some people call them UAPs. But basically, it's unidentified aerial phenomenon that we've been seeing. Yeah. Donald Trump has tried to open this up and let us see what they see to make our own minds up as to, you know, what we think's going on. What do you think's going on?
Well, Donald Trump has faith in the American people and believes our mental fortitude has reached a point, considering all the other insanity we've been dealing with. We have the mental capability, a capacity to deal with unidentified aerial phenomenon. And there are unidentified aerial phenomenon. It's no longer a guess. You know, I'm a pilot, Michael. I don't talk much about it, but every once in a while in my 30, 40 years of flying, I've seen some weird things that I cannot explain. In fact, I don't talk about them because if I was to file a report on them, I don't know what I'd say. The fact of the matter is, I do believe there are phenomenon in life, in beings, and in science that we have yet to get our arms around. This sits against the backdrop of a launch pad explosion in Cape Canaveral, and sits against our attempt to get rockets and people out to the moon with base stations out there. It sits against the fact that we're moving our web-based services and hub server farms into outer space. Why? To cool and to get sun. A lot of interesting things that are outside our normal wheelhouse. But UAP, I think, is going to be something that, and I commend Donald Trump for this, absent all the politics, just on face, that he puts enough faith and trust in the acumen of the American people, of all humans, to be able to assess this and to come up with a policy, a plan, an approach to other beings, other life forms that come to us here on Earth in the decades, in the centuries ahead.
You know, I think, and I told Ted earlier that, you know, you have to admit, I mean, the universe is huge. There's some people that think DNA or whatever it is that we're made of was brought here from somewhere else. I mean, I watch these shows and it does open your mind to think that, hey, even if you're a believer and you believe in the Bible, there's still a way that maybe was not explained in the Bible that we got here. And so,
That's right.
maybe that's what God did. Maybe he brought us here through DNA or whatever you want to call it on this planet. I mean, I guess, my mind is open to believe that there is something bigger than us, and maybe we got here not by accident, but on purpose. And maybe us exploring these other places, as we discussed earlier, talking about the Blue Origin, a lot of hiccups on the way, but we need to go to Mars. What if they brought us from Mars to here? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like, I think about these things.
Yeah, I mean, it might be that government itself was scared about the the human's condition and their ability to absorb and digest this without creating civil unrest and some sort of uprising for fear that there's some some atrocity that's about to occur. I think is a normal progression in our thinking that we just have to maybe get ready to consider. Do I believe in the Bible? Absolutely. Do I believe it's interpreted and written by man? We know that's so. But man interprets things in the way they interpreted it when they wrote it, without science or epistemic information or research from data from satellites, and server farms didn't exist then. So all the authors of the Bible took the very best effort they could to create. This is just a spin. I believe in Jesus and I'm a strong Christian. But let's face it, the Bible was written by human beings, which means there's room for interpretation, right? So we do that every Friday morning with our own interpretation. So
perhaps the reason why we have that psyche that is worried about, you mentioned it, the government may be worried that, people would freak out if they thought there were other people coming to our planet. Perhaps we should look back to Orson Welles and the War of the Worlds as where all of that started.
Yeah. And the accidental slip on the national news about the world coming to an end with some invasion just tipped off all the movie producers on how they can get more audience.
That's right. All right. So moving on to some other subjects, I think you mentioned to me earlier that you wanted to talk about a couple of other folks. We've got this Talarico guy. They call him Talafrico in Texas, and there's other things going on. What's your take on the current status of politics, the loss, I guess, of some of the old timers in the Senate, which is something you rarely see. What do you think's going on here?
Well, the second part first. The loss of the old people in the Senate begs the issue of term limits again. These people falling by the wayside have opened the door to a new generation of leadership. And in some cases, we notice the leadership is enhanced with a new generation, and in other cases, we know it's been encumbered with such bad behavior and incompetence. James Talafrico couldn't moderate a church picnic dispute about potato salad. And you're telling me that this guy stands the chance of becoming a senator? Over my dead body, he doesn't chance it.
No, that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. I don't care.
The one thing that's going to keep him from getting elected, besides all the other crazy stuff that he's done, you don't get elected in the land of barbecue by being a vegan.
No, he not in the land of barbecue. In fact, that's how misguided he's been. His speeches are so thoughtful you have to expect homework afterwards. I mean, he's just not substantive, is what I'm trying to say. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
man who, and then the other guy in parallel, that's 40 years in the Senate and needs to go, is Chris Combs of Delaware. I mean, this guy, he's been to Washington so long, he probably thinks inflation is just a Delaware tourist attraction. I mean, he doesn't have any ability to do anything except talk up party lines. Most recently, he's been on a rant to defend Joe Biden. Joe Biden, so mentally incompetent and incapable. Not only his wife can step up now and defend him, and yet she tries to. A total bevy of contradictions. Dr. Jill Biden comes out thinking this man had maybe a small episode and she wasn't confident about that his capability to give a debate. Why is she stirring the hornet's nest all over again? The man was incompetent.
Quiet.
Huh?
I said, keep quiet.
Keep quiet and stay off the auto pen machine. The woman was running government and we didn't know about it. Joe Biden's few cabinet meetings, she brings her in to try to moderate the meeting, and she failed miserably. The department heads and agency heads couldn't even get to the substance. We had a complete miscarriage of government leadership because the Democrats controlled the narrative for the select few and the lobbyists and the money machine, and the NGOs at the top. This was a complete disgrace to the governance and how our government is intended to operate. We will see in the months and years ahead the return of good government. The best thing the Republican Party has going, Michael, is the Democrat Party. Everyone thinks that the Republican Party's going to lose out in the midterms. To the contrary, the Democrat stupidity is about to hand to the Republicans a midterm success, Donald Trump involvement or no Donald Trump involvement. The Republicans are going to win because, not only because of Donald Trump's endorsements, I don't make light of that, but because the Democrats, well, you know, if you light a match in a gas tank, what do you expect, right? I mean, these people are just destroying themselves, and it's a good thing. How many years have we talked about this? The complete destruction, disintegration of the Democrat Party is being witnessed in live, real time, in plain view. It allows us to get this act together. And by the way, not really switching gears, but in the limited time we have, it means that the Republicans need to get rid of the filibuster, which Donald Trump has been pushing for. That I don't know what's going on with John Thune, head of the Senate, but he better get off his butt and start taking some serious action sooner. Republicans aren't without their own shortcomings. But John Thune, the president, needs to turn around, remove the filibuster, and get things passed on a simple majority immediately, like term limits, like a balanced budget, like get rid of these stalls with reconciliation, and get some constitutional amendments passed that penalize congressional wrongdoing, that it become a felony and criminal that they act in at times in the way they have, and the fact that they're interfering, that state and local government is interfering with the supremacy clause of this Constitution, which says that at times of conflict or confusion, that the supreme constitution of this nation supersedes state and local legislation. That means get the hell out of the way at the local level and let the federal government operate.
And just like that, Gene, you took up 15 minutes, and we appreciate your commentary. It goes by fast, but a pleasure to see you, sir, and we will see you again next week.
Hello, fellow patriots. Gene Valentino here. As we approach our 250th anniversary, let's celebrate the spirit that made this nation the greatest country on earth. I'm so proud to offer you our limited edition 1776 to 2026 commemorative hats, a bold reminder of freedom, faith, and the American dream. Whether you're at a rally or on a golf course or just showing your pride every day, this hat says it all. Grab yours today at GeneValentino.com and let freedom ring.